This story is the reason why my friend says she no longer works in the ICU, because if you think people die alone in the hospital, you're wrong. Sometimes something comes to collect them. My friend used to work nights at an ICU in Detroit, and she told me about a stretch of shifts that changed the way she looks at death and why she doesn't want to work in the ICU. Her patient was a young man with a self inflicted head wound who was brought in by police after a manhunt. And shout out to Danielle S. for fueling this spooky story time as she bought me a coffee. Thanks, boo. He was on life support. She had him 3 nights in a row, and each night something felt worse every time she entered that room. She said the moment that she walked in there the first night, it was quiet and heavy, like someone or something was already there. And while she was charting at the bedside, she started hearing whispering, just loud enough to make out, "He's going to get it. He should have never did that to us." She looked around the room and there was no one, no family present, not even a staff member walking down the hallway, just the ventilator humming. She finished her check and her charting and she stepped out of the room, and then the door slammed hard behind her. She opened it back up immediately, but the patient hadn't moved. No one else inside of the room. She said after that, she knew that that patient wasn't alone in that room. Night two, about halfway through her shift, all the alarms start screaming. She rushed in, expecting to see him moving, but when she got to the bedside, she realized that the ventilator tubing was unplugged and he was restrained to the bed. There was no possible way that he would have been able to pull that tube himself. She connected everything and tried to shake off the feeling of being watched. But a little bit later, that call light went off. And when she walked in the room, it was completely still. The patient was laying in the bed, silent, but his eyes were wide open. And he was staring at the foot of the bed, not blinking, not tracking, just staring. She did a neurological assessment. She waved her hand in front of his face and nothing. His eyes never even moved, just fixed on the same spot. She finally glanced down towards the foot of the bed, and when she did, just for a second, she said she saw several people standing there, and when she blinked and looked back, all of them were gone. Night three, by the third night, baby, she was a little spooked to go into the room. But this patient had been declared brain dead at this time. So all she had to do was maintain the ventilator setting so he could make it through till the family made decisions. And when she walked in, he started bucking the vent like he was trying to breathe or talk. So she increased the sedation levels and turned to leave. And that's when she heard in her ear, low, clear, and calm, "I'm here to collect." She spun around and there was no one there, just the patient, still and silent. And the machines were humming. At 3:47 in the morning, every alarm in that room started going off. And even though they knew that he was brain dead, they still did a rapid response. They did everything they could, but it didn't matter. He was gone. Eventually, the room cleared out, the monitors quiet, and she had a sigh of relief because she was like, "Oh, the creepy part is over." But as my friend walked out into that hallway, she realized she was wrong. She swears she saw something that she'll never forget, a tall, dark figure walking down the corridor, and he was dragging something behind it. When she said she took a closer look, she realized that the patient was being pulled by the dark figure. She said after that shift, she stopped believing that some people die alone because sometimes something comes to get them. What do you think came and got this patient? Let me know down in the comments and have your best spooky day. Bye.